Securitization involves using the following synthetic financial instruments. Here we're going to explain this using Jenga pieces. The black Jenga pieces will represent mortgages. The white Jenga pieces will represent bonds. And the red pieces will represent derivatives. The first financial instrument is collateralized debt obligations, or CDOs. This is a combination of individual mortgages, bonds, and derivatives into one bond. This diversifies the risk. The second financial instrument is mortgage-backed securities. This is a combination of mortgages bundled together and sold to investors like a stock. The third financial instrument is a credit default swap. This is an agreement that if there is a credit default on the underlying asset, the investor in the instrument would recover lost funds by the buyer of the swap. Effectively, this represents an insurance policy against credit default. After these securities are made, they are issued a credit rating. These ratings go from AAA, AA, all the way down depending on their risk profile. The significance of these is the higher ratings are paid out first, making AAA highly desirable. This is known as the cash flow waterfall mechanism, as seen here as the lower grade bonds are paid out after the higher bonds are paid out. The benefits of securitization are the following. It allows the issuer to bundle lower rated securities into one diversified AAA rated security. This means the issuer has a reduced cost of funding, enabling them to borrow at AAA rates. By removing these assets from their balance sheet, the issuer has lower capital requirements. The issuer can then lock in profits, providing budgeting certainty. The main benefit of securitization is the ability to transfer risk from an issuer who doesn't want it to an investor who does. The financial crisis of 2007-2009 was centered on the commissioning of subprime mortgages, and thus securitization played a pivotal role. First off was the system that the rating agencies used was flawed. This was based on the fact that the higher the credit rating, the lower the securitization cost, which resulted in higher profits. Therefore, there is little financial incentive for a bank to question the rating agency's historical approach to setting the rating, even if the bank is fully aware that the mortgage may be at a higher risk of default. Secondly, due to the presence of competition, there is an incentive for rating agency to issue a higher credit rating in an effort to generate more income and outperform their competition. If the bank doesn't like the credit rating it receives, it was a simple matter of going down the road to another credit rating agency to get the desired rating. Another role that securitization played in the financial crisis was the misuse of complex financial instruments to boost earnings. In some cases, the tranches rated AAA by the rating agencies were added to the original bank capital of equity reserves and bonds, so the banks could issue more loans. For example, as defaults rose, the insurance providers of credit default swaps collapsed. In the case of AIG, the credit default swap exposure was so severe that it had to be rescued by the US government to prevent a possible collapse of the global financial system. In an effort to reduce the risk of securitization and derivatives leading to another financial crisis, government bodies have introduced new financial regulation. Two of these regulatory measures are the Dodd-Frank Act and Basel III. Basel III remains the most important piece of regulation for the banks and plays a significant impact in the banking securitization. This introduced a new capital definition that now includes only two tiers made up of equity reserves and bonds. This new definition sees the abolishment of Tier 3, which included credit default swaps. The Dodd-Frank Act was introduced in 2010 to reduce systematic risk and increase market transparency. One way this was done was through the Volcker Rule. This saw the division of commercial banks and investment institutions. This mimics the Glass-Steagall Act of 1933 that Bill Clinton abolished in the 90s. Good man, Bill.